need to see just how easy it is to figure out what to do with your old 401ks. So if you've ever asked the question, what should I do with my old 401k? Watch to the end as I will walk you through the 5 options, including one that I would strongly recommend you stay away from. Let's get started. In today's video, we're going to go through the 5 options that you have for your old 401ks, including one that I don't think you should do that I will explain later. From leaving your funds as they are to considering a direct rollover into an IRA, each choice has its upsides and its downsides. And I'm going to break it down for you so it's easy to understand, and hopefully it can help you make an informed decision about your retirement savings. So what should you do with your old 401ks that might be left behind? Well, let's kick off with the first option, do nothing. Doing nothing essentially means leaving your 401k plan as it is, assuming your old employer allows it. While it might seem like the easiest route, there are some details to keep in mind, like dealing with customer service. It could prove a bit tricky. However, there are some perks to keeping your funds within the original 401k plan, and we're going to walk you through a few of them here. Another advantage of keeping your funds in your old 401k is the potential for federal debtor protection, helping ensure the safety of your retirement savings in case of bankruptcy or litigation. However, it's essential to weigh these benefits against the potential drawbacks. One significant drawback is the possibility of having multiple 401k plans or employer-sponsored accounts scattered across various companies, leading to confusion and difficulty in tracking your investments. This fragmented approach can make effective management of your overall investment picture extremely difficult and may result in missed opportunities for optimizing your funds. Let's also not forget that you might not be permitted to keep the money in the plan. But even if you could leave it in, many 401k plans offer very limited investment choices, which can hinder your ability to maximize your future returns. With only a handful of options available, like target date funds, your portfolio's expected return could be a lot lower than you want. Additionally, managing multiple plans simultaneously can be a challenge, making it difficult to stay informed and on top of your current investments. Despite these challenges, if you decide that keeping your money within your current 401k plan is the best course of action, the simplest approach is to take no action and inform your employer or plan administrators accordingly. Of course, there might also be the chance that you might not need to notify anyone and everything could proceed very smoothly. However, it's critical to carefully assess all of the factors before settling on this option. This brings us to option 2, transferring your old 401k to your new employer's 401k plan. Now, you may consider transferring your old 401k plan to your new employer plan if you're still working and have found another job. While it's unlikely that your new employer may not allow the transfer, most of the time it's not an issue. In most cases, you'll be able to transfer your old 401k plan from your old employer to the new 401k plan with your new employer. There are several advantages to this approach. First, consolidating your accounts into one plan helps streamline your financial management, especially if you have multiple 401k plans scattered across different companies. Second, transferring your funds typically provides similar creditor protections to those offered by your previous 401k plan, helping ensure the security of your investments can remain intact. Another advantage of transferring your old plan to your new employer plan is the potential tax benefit. Unlike withdrawing all the funds from your old 401k, which incurs taxes, rolling it into your current plan allows you to consolidate your assets without triggering tax implications. However, it is critical to note that some employers may have eligibility waiting periods for their 401k plans, which could delay your ability to access the plan. Additionally, if your new plan offers limited investment options, it may hinder your ability to diversify your portfolio effectively. Many clients that I help often face this issue. After they've transferred, they discover that the investment choices available in their new 401k plans are not as good as their old plan, which can limit their ability to optimize their investments. Now, I've noticed that choices within 401k plans seem to be decreasing year by year. And this will present a challenge for you as an employee looking to optimize your portfolio. Year after year, the available investment options seem to get more and more sparse, making it increasingly difficult to manage investments effectively. However, if you do opt for a rollover, the process involves contacting your former employee's company and coordinating with the HR department at your new company. Be prepared though for a substantial amount of paperwork, back and forth communication, and potentially long wait times on the phone. Despite the administrative hassle, eventually you'll likely be able to transfer your funds from your old 401k plan to your new employer's 401k plan, but it won't be without some legwork involved. Now on to the third option, which I have to tell you is my least favorite. Cashing out your 401k. Cashing out your 401k and withdrawing all the funds, while technically it is your money, is generally considered a very poor financial decision due to the tax implications and penalties. While you do have the option to withdraw the funds from your 401k plan, I would strongly suggest against it. It's tempting to access the money, especially if you're facing financial challenges, but it's really important to consider the long-term consequences. Withdrawing from your 401k means tapping into your retirement savings, which you'll eventually likely need later in life. Additionally, taking out these funds triggers a tax bill as well as penalties. For example, if you withdraw $100,000, you'll owe taxes on that amount, which could significantly reduce your overall payout. This tax deduction was originally applied when you contributed to the plan, but now upon withdrawal, the taxes have to be paid. What's more is you'll incur additional penalties on top of the taxes owed, making early withdrawals from your 401k a very costly decision in the long run. You will face these penalties for an early distribution, typically if you're under 59 and a half years old, unless you qualify for an exemption. Now, let's weigh the pros and cons of withdrawing your money early. One advantage is immediate access to cash. However, this benefit is outweighed by the substantial reduction due to penalties and fees and taxes. It might seem like a quick fix, but withdrawing from your 401k really should be the last resort. You're essentially borrowing from your future to meet current demands, which can have lasting consequences on your financial well-being. If you find yourself in dire circumstances with no other options, it's critical to seek guidance from a portfolio manager before making this decision. Early withdrawals can inflict permanent damage on your future financial plans, making professional advice really essential in navigating this challenging situation. Now let's consider the fourth option, an indirect rollover into an individual retirement account. An indirect rollover can be done, but it's not as straightforward as it seems. Essentially what happens is your old plan administrator will give you a check. You'll then establish an IRA with a provider, and you will have to deposit that check into the new account within a 60-day window. Failure to meet this deadline could result in taxes, fees, and penalties similar to those you would experience if you were cashing out of your 401k directly. The advantage here is you have temporary access to that cash for 60 days, potentially serving as a short-term bridge loan if you need it. Now, here are some issues you really want to consider. First, you're really going to need to ensure you deposit the check within that 60-day time frame, as failure to do so will probably result in taxes and penalties. Another big complication arises if your employer withholds a certain portion of the distribution to ensure compliance with tax regulations. The transaction will be reported to the IRS, so it's essential to follow the process diligently. During this period, not only could you risk missing out on potential market gains since the funds are not invested, your employer might withhold up to 20% of the amount, creating a shortfall when you deposit into the new plan. While not always the case, you may need to cover this withheld amount out of your own pocket to fulfill the rollover requirement. This can be tough to manage if you have a sizable 401k. For example, let's say that you have a $500,000 401k and you opt for an indirect rollover. Let's also assume that your employer withholds 20% or $100,000. You may need to cover this $100,000 within the 60-day period, something that you might not be able to do. Another thing that comes up is that you're limited to one rollover every 365 days, and there might be some associated high fees along with trying to decide where to invest the funds can also be challenging. Nonetheless, indirect rollovers remain a viable option. Moving on to the fifth option, and probably the best one, you can opt for a direct rollover known as a trustee to trustee rollover. This involves transferring your funds directly from one retirement plan to another, typically an IRA. While there is paperwork involved, you would typically collaborate with a portfolio manager to navigate this process smoothly, and they would handle most of the heavy lifting. One significant advantage is the wider range of investment options available with an IRA, providing significantly more flexibility for your retirement savings strategy. When guiding our clients through this process, we focus on constructing a diversified portfolio that aims to maximize future expected returns while minimizing risk. Although there's some paperwork involved, we assist our clients every step of the way to navigate through it seamlessly and avoid potential pitfalls. Compared to the other options that I've discussed, direct rollovers or trustee-to-trustee rollovers require far less complexity and involve fewer risks. However, it's essential to note that you might have one big drawback common to this type of option: the loss of creditor protection that comes with moving funds out of a 401k. If you're concerned at all about protection against lawsuits or bankruptcy, leaving your funds in a 401k can provide more security compared to rolling them into an IRA. Another drawback is that engaging in rollovers could affect your ability to execute a backdoor Roth strategy in the future. Additionally, while it's unlikely, there is a possibility that the fees associated with an IRA could be slightly higher than those of your 401k. This is something worth discussing with your new portfolio manager to determine if the potential benefits of better investment options outweighs the potential for increased fees. Here's the bottom line. When it comes to your old 401k, you essentially have 5 options: leaving your funds where they are, transferring them to your new employer's plan, cashing them out, which is strongly advised against, considering an indirect rollover, though it's not totally straightforward, or opting for a direct rollover. Each option comes with its own set of considerations and potential implications for your financial future, and deciding what to do with your old 401k involves careful consideration of the various factors and options. Whatever option you decide to choose, it's crucial to weigh the pros and cons carefully and seek professional guidance if needed. Did you know that navigating the uncertainties of the markets and your finances is generally smoother with the support of a portfolio manager? Studies have consistently shown that individuals who work with a portfolio manager can accumulate up to 3 times higher net worth compared to going it alone. Do you want to learn more about how to do a backdoor Roth conversion or increase your Social Security? Well, click here for more amazing financial strategies. We'll see you soon.